Good morning all. Well, this is part 2 of installing the installation. As you saw last video, I got most of the insulation up on the roof and the walls, and this week I've done around the cabin floors and also started to get ready to spray the foam insulation. So let me show you what I've done and what I'm going to do today. Alright, so this is the front cabin, and I've done the insulation over the floor, which is over the sound deadening, and what happens next is I'm going to get carpet and put the carpet over that. That's the passenger side and driver's side, so that should cut down a lot on the heat coming up through the engine bay and also the noise. Alright, down the bottom I've taped over most of the holes. I've left some, as you'll be able to see, just open, and that's where I'm going to spray the spray foam in, down that way, and left them open each way so I can then close them up. So I've gone along and done that all the way along both sides of the bus, all the way to the end on the bottom panel. Now, I haven't used spray foam before, so this is the first time, so hopefully I'll get it right. If it works out okay down the bottom, then I'm going to do the same along here. I'm going to cover the holes all the way along, leave one or two open every now and then, and spray in there as well. So that's the plan for this week. So I'm going to crack on and see how I go. You'll see the time lapse of me doing this, so hopefully all going well. This is the spray foam I'm using. Not sure if it's any good or not, but we're going to try it out and see how it goes. Just got to shake it and put the nozzle on and see what happens when I spray. Well, that was an interesting little episode. Sorry, I think I've got some on my lens, which is a bit of a pain. Alright, if you haven't used spray foam before, my best advice is to be very well prepared. Make sure you have gloves on, because I didn't, and this stuff is as sticky as all heck. So make sure you've got gloves. Also, I'm going to turn around and show you. I've taped over the holes, but the holes that I left open, I thought I'd have time to go along and do a few more holes and come back and put tape over it. However, that wasn't the case. This was the first one I did. I started on the second one, and by the time I was almost finished there, this one was all over the place. This was out all over here. So I've pushed it back in and taped it as good as I can, but it keeps coming out, but it's starting to harden now, so I think I've stopped. And then this one was the same. By the time I cleaned up the other one, this one was coming out too. So what I eventually ended up doing for the next lot, I had the tape sitting back ready to go over the hole. As soon as I finished it, I pushed the tape back over the hole and I put some more tape on it to try and hold it in. That worked mainly unless, so it's not too bad there, and I'm pretty sure I've got down through all the holes. I can't really be sure, but I hope so. But here you can see it was, even though I had tape ready to go, it's still popped out over the tape, and I've got quite a few bits of tape there. So, and all along here there's little, I thought it was all a flow through channel, but when you put the nozzle of the spray foam down, it hits some cross members. Like this one only had a little bit here that it could fill up, whereas others had a fair bit. So just be wary of that if you're going to do it with spray foam. I don't know how else you would do it without spray foam. Yeah, I suppose you could push up earth wool or polyester fibre or whatever up into there. Be a bit difficult, but you could do it, I assume. But now I've got a bit more of an idea. Hopefully it'll be a bit better as I go down. That can lasted me 3/4 of the bottom section of the bus. I got to, this was the last one I put in just here. So I've got this way and a little bit down this way. So still got that section to go. But I'm not going to open the next can because I want to tape all these up and make sure I've got it all right, so I'm ready to go with the next can. But be aware, it is not fun. It's very sticky. Even as it comes out, it's very sticky on the floor. I've tried to clean it up as well. It was sticky. Have paper towel ready to pick up stuff as well. Anyway guys, that's my first foray into spray foam, expanding foam. So it's a learning curve. Hopefully this will help you if you go down the track too. After leaving it all day and coming back out, I should have filmed this, but I had the tape on it, like over there, and pulled it out. And some of it still wasn't dry, so it's hardening off now that the air's got to it. So, and I don't think I should have covered up the holes. I'm going through and just cleaning up the overflow at the moment that's come out, but I'm pretty sure it's gone in there all right. Sounds like it. Over where I haven't done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull off all the tape. I'm going to put some covering down along here, whether it just be paper towel or something, so any overflow, and then I'm going to do it without any tape on there and just let it ooze out from everywhere and see whether that makes a difference. If that makes a difference, then that's what I'm going to do up the top here. I don't know, maybe I have to fill in some of the holes. I don't know yet. Anyway, but we'll see how it goes down here. If it works down the bottom here the other way, then that's what I'll do. But if not, then I won't be doing anything there. I'll be doing another thing there. So anyway, taped up, and I've put paper towel on to cover any of the excess that comes out the hole. And I'm now going to spray the spray foam in there and see what happens, and see whether that makes a difference. So I'm only doing this first section here of the upper bit of the bus, but I'll finish doing the holes down here and see how we go. Alright, so now we've done it without tape holding up or blocking up the other holes. May have squirted too much in the holes down the bottom. I learned a bit more up the top, so it wasn't as bad. But as you can see, it's still coming out. And I also went back and did some of the other holes as well that I thought maybe needed a little bit, but it doesn't look like they did. We'll let it cure off and we'll see what happens after this. If that works, then I'll go through and we'll do this whole beam here, and the same on this side too. We'll do all this all the way along as well. Good morning all. Well, today we'll continue on the spray foam. I think I've worked out the best way of doing it, like leaving the holes open, so I'm going to do that today. I'm just going to put some drop sheets down so any excess will fall onto that and not onto the floor itself. I'm going to clean up the leftovers from yesterday, and I went through and gave it a bit of a clean up as well, taking off all the big pieces that were sticking out. So it looks like it's filled up really good. Also do this side. I've got to take out the water pump and the connection for that all the way down, so I can then fill up the holes. Just give it a clean up before I do that. So that's the plan for today. Okie dokie. Alright, I've put down the drop sheet. I've covered a few holes so we don't have as much leakage of stuff, so I'm hoping this will sort of be a midway between covering all holes except for one or two here and there. Down the bottom in this section here, it actually goes out into the other beam going up and down, so I've had to stick some stuff in there so it'll stop it popping out through that, and that's the same all the way down the other end here at this beam here. It's open between this beam and this beam here, so I've put some packer in there to stop it from just leaking out that way. Other than that, these beams down here, they're all closed off in here, and the same with this beam coming down here, it's blocked off this side and this side, so it can't get through there. Alright, so now the time is, let's put the filler in and see what happens. If this works okay, while that's doing there, I'll then go along and tape all this off and fill it all in, and then we can add the filler to that as well. So here we go. We've filled it with one can, and it seems to have done this whole section bar the last little window section, which I'll do with the next can. Closing up some of the holes, this seems to work. It hasn't caused any issues at the moment that I can see, because it looks like it's full behind it. Once these parts start to dry off, then I'll pull those tapes off, and hopefully that will start to dry it off from there. But that was one can, so I'm hoping that I've got the right mix of holes and taped up holes for it to work. So I'm going to get stuck into the other side now. You've got to love working with spray foam. Not only is it very sticky to work with, as you can see, it drops everywhere. So make sure you've got some drop sheets. Good afternoon all. Well, this week's been constant. I've finished doing the rest of the insulation, which is good. I've noticed a drop in the temperature when we've been in the bus. However, I think that's going to help when I put the thermoshield on the roof of the bus as well, which will be coming in the next couple of weeks. I think I'll order it this week, and I might even come this week because it's only got to come from Brisbane. So that will be good, and hopefully then we can start doing all the other stuff we need to do. Anyway, I'll spin the camera around and show you what the insulation looks like done. Here it is all along the beam. That's all the spray foam done. It's also the same on the opposite side. Now, the other thing I did do, which I didn't talk about, but I'll tell you now, just so you know, along these cutouts along here, I had left a fair bit of insulation as well. So what I've done is I've covered over in one sheet on each section now, because when I first did it, there's little cross beams that go across, which I've only taped over, but now with this extra insulation on there, it's covered those beams as well. So that's on all of them now. So it's got 2 layers of insulation on that bottom part. So it's all looking good. I'm happy with the results of the spray foam, and overall everything on the insulation seems to be going all right. We'll see if it holds up on the roof and doesn't fall down. Hopefully it won't, but it's going to be open for a little bit while we do the electrical side of it. So I'll get a gauge whether it's going to fall down in the next couple of weeks or not. If it does, then we'll have to decide how we're going to fix it. But at the moment, it looks okay. All right, guys, that's the second part of the insulation video done. The only part now left in the 3 stages of doing all the insulationing and sound deadening is the van sealer, which I've got, but I've got to run all the electrical cables yet, so that'll be a little bit away, and that will finish off completely before I have to get stuck into putting the walls and ceiling up. So once again, hope you like this video. Hope your build's going well. If you're just starting out, it gets easier as you go along, so just keep plugging through. If anybody has any questions or needs any help, just leave some comments in the section below, and I'll try to answer it as best I could. Otherwise, just leave a like on this video, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Thanks, guys, for all your support. We've now reached 300, which when I first started seemed so far away. So to have 300 subscribers, I'm pretty happy with. So anyway, have a good week, and we'll look forward to putting up another video for you next week, guys. All right, see you then.